if you thought the Shedeur Sanders saga couldn't get any messier. Buckle up, because now Jerry Jones has entered the chat, and he's not here to play by the rules. Not that he ever did. While the Cleveland Browns are over here self-destructing in broad daylight, shouting matches in practice, quarterback room tension, public meltdowns, there's one man watching the chaos unfold from his luxury suite like a Bond villain sipping Johnny Walker Blue. If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed. And in his mind, this isn't dysfunction. This is opportunity. Welcome to Jerry World, baby, where rules are optional. Headlines are currency and nothing is off the table, including poaching the most talked about rookie quarterback in the league in secret. That's right, behind closed doors, while Cleveland spins into chaos, Jerry Jones is allegedly moving pieces behind the scenes. Whispers, quiet calls, third-party intermediaries, all the stuff that makes NFL lawyers break out into cold sweats. And the prize? Shedeur Sanders. Not just because the kid can sling it. Not just because his preseason tape looked like something out of a Madden commercial, but because Jerry sees something bigger. He sees a global brand. Let's be honest, Jerry's never been just about football. The Cowboys haven't sniffed a Super Bowl since dial-up internet, but they remain the most valuable sports franchise in the world. Why? Marketing. Hype. The illusion of relevance. And now, Jerry wants to make that illusion real again. Enter Shedeur, the prodigy son of Deion Sanders, a Cowboys legend by the way, the face of modern nil culture, a quarterback with talent, charisma, and more media savvy than half the league's PR departments combined. Jerry doesn't just want Shedeur under center. He wants him on billboards, on jerseys in Tokyo, on talk shows in London, streaming documentaries, Netflix specials, TikTok takeovers. You name it. This isn't a quarterback acquisition. This is a global branding takeover. And how is Jerry going about it? Very quietly, which, frankly, should terrify everyone. Because when Jerry moves in silence, it means he's serious. We're talking discreet meetings with Shedeur's reps, whispered conversations routed through mutual acquaintances, alleged phone calls to people in Deion's orbit. No official contact, of course. That would be tampering. And Jerry would never do something that flagrantly unethical, right? Insert laugh track here. This is the same guy who once bragged about closing million-dollar sponsorships at charity golf events. He's not just an owner. He's a salesman. And right now, he's selling a dream. Shedeur in a star-studded helmet, standing in the center of AT&T Stadium as the new face of America's team. You can almost hear the theme music already. But over in Cleveland, the mood's a little different. Because while Jerry's building a media empire, Kevin Stefanski is reportedly fuming. And who can blame him? He's out here trying to keep his roster from ripping itself apart, trying to explain to the press why his quarterback room looks like a soap opera, trying to hold on to his job while his owner flirts with TikTok-era superstardom and viral jersey sales. And now Jerry Jones wants to steal his quarterback. It's almost cartoonish. The Cowboys already have Dak Prescott, a playoff caliber team, and the biggest media presence in football. And somehow, that's not enough. Jerry wants the future. He wants the sparkle. He wants the name that sells out stadiums whether he's starting or not. And that's what Shedeur is, a one-man brand revolution. Meanwhile, Stefanski can't even get through a week of practice without going viral for telling him to leave if you want. How's that going, Kevin? Because as it turns out, Shedeur just might. Here's the kicker. This whole thing has reportedly been going on for weeks. Jerry's people have been watching from the shadows, tracking every flare-up in Cleveland, measuring the dysfunction, studying the Browns' culture like it's a stock about to tank. And when Stefanski publicly snapped at Shedeur, that was the green light. Because Jerry doesn't just look for talent. He looks for leverage. And right now, he has it. Cleveland's house is on fire. The coach is losing control. The fan base is turning. And the rookie phenom, the one they should be building around, is walking around like a rental. And Deion, he's watching. Closely. Let's not forget, prime time is the Cowboys. Not technically, but spiritually. His swagger, his energy, his brand, it all screams Dallas. And you think Jerry hasn't played that card? You think there hasn't been a friendly conversation between Jerry and Deion, just a casual check-in, just a nostalgic walk down memory lane? Please, those two build a dynasty of ego and flash together. They understand each other. They speak the same language, legacy. And if Jerry tells Deion that he wants to make Shedeur the next great cowboy, don't be shocked if Deion gives his blessing. Because here's what nobody wants to admit. Cleveland was never built for Shedeur. That organization is still stuck in 2007, clinging to outdated ideas about development timelines and earning your stripes. Meanwhile, the rest of the league is moving. We're in the era of instant stars, mic'd-up culture, branding over blandness. And Shedeur, he fits that mold better than anyone. So yeah, Jerry's got a plan. A big one. And it's not just about football. It's about legacy. It's about empire. It's about a final act that cements Jerry as more than just an eccentric billionaire who used to win Super Bowls. He wants to be the man who reshaped the NFL again. But here's the gamble. This isn't just a trade. This would be the biggest move Jerry has made in decades. Bigger than drafting Zeke. Bigger than holding on to Dak. Bigger than his own stadium. Because if it works, if Shedeur delivers, it's global domination. And if it doesn't, it's legacy collapse, public ridicule. A man who bet everything on a quarterback and lost. But Jerry doesn't flinch. He never has. This is the man who built $1 billion coliseum for a team that hadn't won anything in 20 years. You think he's afraid of trading half his draft board for a quarterback with media juice? He's not. And honestly, he might be right. Because the old rules are gone. This isn't the NFL of Bill Walsh and clipboard coaches. This is a league where quarterbacks are brands, and branding is power. And Jerry, he's trying to buy the most valuable one in the building. And Cleveland? They're still debating who should take the first snap in preseason week 3. So while the Browns flail and fight and spiral, Jerry's sitting back, waiting for the moment the front office in Cleveland breaks under the pressure, waiting for the Browns to realize that they can't have it both ways, that they can't mishandle a generational star and expect him to stay loyal. That moment is coming. And when it does, Jerry's phone will be on. He'll have the paperwork ready, the picks lined up, the private jet gas and waiting. Because when Jerry wants something, he gets it. So here's the final question. Will the NFL let this happen? Will the league stand by while Jerry Jones pulls off the most audacious, secretive, high-stakes quarterback heist in modern history? Or will someone step in before Deion Sanders becomes the face of the Dallas Cowboys and the final jewel in Jerry's crown? Either way, the fuse is lit. And the league? It'll never be the same. Let's call it what it is. This isn't just some off-season trade rumor. This is Game of Thrones in cleats. Because when Jerry Jones sets his sights on something or someone, it's not a maybe. It's not a test balloon. It's not let's feel this out. It's a coup, a hostile takeover, velvet-gloved and backed by more cash and charisma than most governments. And in this case, the throne he's eyeing belongs to Deion Sanders, the young QB caught in the middle of a football Cold War. Here's where it gets absolutely wild. Jerry Jones doesn't even need this kid. The Cowboys have Dak Prescott. They have a competent, established starter who's proven he can lead a playoff team. The offense isn't broken. The stadium still sells out. The sponsors are still rolling in. But you know what Jerry can't resist? A legacy move. A final act that cements him not just as a billionaire owner, but as a visionary, a kingmaker, the man who took the most electric rookie in a generation away from a dysfunctional franchise and handed him the keys to the most valuable sports empire on earth. Because for Jerry, this isn't just about winning games. It's about owning the moment. And Shedeur, he is the moment. But let's zoom out for a second, because the domino effect here is absolutely insane. Let's say Jerry does get his way, that through whispers and handshakes and whatever back-channel wizardry he's working, he manages to pry Shedeur out of Cleveland. What happens next? First, the Browns would implode. Not in the usual, oh no, we lost a player way, but in the set off the sprinklers and evacuate the building way. The fan base, already teetering on full revolt after Stefanski's meltdown, would riot. You don't lose a player like Shedeur and expect loyalty to survive. You lose him, and you lose the narrative. Ownership will be forced into a panic PR tour. We did what was best for the team. They'd say it was mutual. This was about culture. Yeah, okay. And Bigfoot plays left tackle. No one's buying it. Meanwhile, in Dallas, Jerry would ascend. You think those press conferences wouldn't be pure theater? That first moment Shedeur walks out in a crisp white jersey with that silver star on his chest, that grin, that confidence, Deion standing somewhere in the shadows with his arms crossed, watching like the proud father king that he is, that's not a media event. That's a coronation. And the NFL? Oh, they'll pretend to be outraged, tampering, improper contact, integrity of the league. But deep down, they'll be salivating. Because whether you like Jerry or not, one thing is undeniable. The man knows how to make people watch. And Shedeur in Dallas? That's prime time. That's record ratings. That's the most watched quarterback transition in modern league history. And now we get to the part that really stings for Cleveland. Because deep down, even they know Shedeur belongs on a bigger stage. He's not built for subtlety. He's not a developmental prospect. He's not some maybe someday guy you stash behind a clipboard. He's box office. He's what happens when talent meets polish, meets a story people want to believe in. And you squandered that. You stuck him in a broken system, behind a quarterback with less juice than a gas station energy drink. You let a coach with the emotional range of a parking meter scream at him, like he was a walk-on at minicamp. And now, Jerry Jones is ready to swoop in, paint the future in Cowboys blue, and leave Cleveland holding a clipboard and a public apology. Let's talk about Deion for a second, because he's a chess piece everyone is watching, but no one's talking about loud enough. You think this deal even floats without him? Not a chance. Deion Sanders is a connective tissue between this dream and reality. He's not just Shedeur's dad. He's a brand gatekeeper, a Cowboys legend, a man with enough leverage and cultural capital to shift the winds of football just by blinking. If he says the word, Jerry makes a call. And you better believe that call's already been made. Now imagine the next layer. What happens to Dak? That's the drama lurking just off-screen. Because for all of Jerry's sweet talk, he's not adding Shedeur just to ride the bench. He's not spending record-breaking trade capital and sneaky PR assets to develop him slowly. No, if Jerry lands this move, it's Shedeur's team. The baton gets passed. Maybe not immediately, but fast. Quicker than Dak or the fans are ready for. And that's where the true spectacle begins. Shedeur walking into AT&T Stadium as QB2, but walking out as QB1. Media storms. Fan forums melting down. Jerseys flying off the shelves. Every snap, every throw, every sideline camera glance between Shedeur and Dak dissected like it's a scene from Succession. It'll be messy. It'll be glorious. It'll be the most valuable content in sports television. And Jerry, he'll be smiling the whole time. Because here's the truth about Jerry Jones that no one wants to admit. For all the chaos, for all the ego, for all the drama, he gets it. He understands the show. And in the modern NFL, that matters as much as a scoreboard. You can win 8 games a year and still be relevant if you're interesting. But you know what Jerry's chasing? Both. He wants rings. He wants relevance. He wants the Cowboys to matter again, not just as a brand, but as a force. And Shedeur Sanders? He's the first player in years who can deliver both. Now, the question is, will the league let it happen? Because if this deal goes through, if the smoke becomes fire and Shedeur ends up in Dallas, it's a tectonic shift. It would prove what some people have whispered for years, that the most powerful figures in the NFL aren't the GMs or even the coaches. They're the owners, the billionaires, the brand architects, the men who can bend rules and shift outcomes, not with game plans, but with vision, relationships, and checks with too many zeros. And Jerry? He's their king. So where does that leave Cleveland? Sitting in the wreckage of their own indecision, a team that had lightning in a bottle, and smashed it trying to screw the cap on too tight. And what about Stefanski? Well, if this goes through, he'll probably be gone before the ink on the trade even dries. You don't survive telling your star rookie to walk, and then watching him do it. And you definitely don't survive the press conference where Jerry Jones announces that Shedeur Sanders is now a Cowboy, because we believe in vision and value, not hesitation and hierarchy. That quote's coming. Bet on it. So now what? We wait. We watch. Because something is happening. Something big. The kind of behind-the-scenes maneuvering that changes everything. And whether it's next week, next month, or next season, this story's not going away. Because Jerry doesn't chase rumors. He makes them come true. And Shedeur Sanders? He's not just part of the story anymore. He is the story. And if the stars align just right, he might soon be wearing one on his helmet. At this point, calling it a rumor feels like an insult to the sheer theatrical precision of what's unfolding behind the scenes. This isn't speculation. This is strategy. A slow-motion hijacking of one franchise's future by another team's obsession with legacy, power, and optics. Shedeur Sanders of the Dallas Cowboys isn't just a storyline. It's starting to feel like destiny. And you can almost hear Jerry Jones narrating himself, can't you? Back in my day, we made legends in Dallas. We didn't wait for them to grow. We built them right then and there. That's the whole play here. It's not about Cleveland's dysfunction anymore. That's old news. Stefanski's meltdown, the locker room tension, the quarterback limbo. It's all background noise now. What matters is what's coming next. And what's coming is bigger than football. Jerry Jones sees Shedeur Sanders not as a solution to a quarterback problem, but as the key to unlocking a second dynasty. The kind of move that reboots a franchise's soul and cements Jerry's name in gold again. He's been chasing that feeling since the 90s. Since Aikman, Irvin, and Emmett had Texas in a chokehold. Since the last time Dallas wasn't just a brand, but a force of nature. And he believes Shedeur Sanders is the only player in the league with the factor to bring that energy back. Now think about the mechanics of what that means. This isn't just a draft day deal. This will be one of the most complex, heavily scrutinized, and potentially illegal moves in NFL history. You don't just wake up one day and trade for a franchise quarterback who isn't even officially on the trade block. Not without setting off alarm bells across the league office. Which is why Jerry's not operating like a GM. He's operating like a spy. The back channel whispers. The discreet dinners. The off-the-record conversations through business associates or old friends. Every phone call calculated. Every word chosen carefully. The NFL has tampering rules. But Jerry Jones? He has workarounds. And here's the genius of it. Even if he's caught, who's going to stop him? A fine? A draft pick? Please. Jerry eats those for breakfast. He's got so much money and influence that league discipline has become the cost of doing business. And you know what else? He's gambling on time. Because every day that passes in Cleveland without resolution, every extra rep for Dylan Gabriel, every awkward press conference, every we're evaluating soundbite, makes Shedeur one step closer to being available. Or worse, miserable. And Jerry loves a miserable star. He knows that if he can get Shedeur questioning Cleveland's commitment, doubting the culture, wondering if he's wasting his prime, he's already halfway to Texas. And Deion, don't underestimate his influence in this either. Primetime may not be walking into front offices making demands, but he's got ears on every phone line and a quote ready to drop whenever the narrative needs nudging. Remember, Deion played for Dallas. He knows the Cowboys' mystique. He helped build it. And if he senses that his son is being mishandled, underutilized, disrespected, don't be shocked if a certain quote finds its way into the press. If Shedeur played in Dallas, he'd already be starting. Boom. That's it. That's all it would take. Suddenly, every sports talk show is lit up. Every fan base is arguing. Every sports bar turns into a debate arena. Is Shedeur worth the risk? Would he really leave Cleveland? Could Jerry pull it off? It becomes the only thing anyone talks about. And the more it's talked about, the more it feels inevitable. Because Shedeur Sanders isn't built to be a footnote in a mid-market team's rebuild. He's not meant to play backup while coaches try to teach him humility. He's meant for spotlights, prime time, pressure, commercials, Super Bowls. And whether you like Jerry or not, He understands that better than anyone. He's not building a team. He's building a spectacle. And Shedeur is a headliner. So let's game it out. What would a trade even look like? Word on the street is that Jerry's not flinching at the price. We're talking multiple first-round picks. A young, starting-caliber defensive player. A future conditional second. Maybe even a big-name receiver. Jerry will throw everything at this. Because this isn't just about winning next season. It's about securing the next decade. It's about Jerry's legacy. His final masterstroke. And yeah, there's risk. A lot of risk. Shedeur isn't proven at the pro level. The media scrutiny would be insane. Dak's demotion or departure would be messy. The locker room would be under a microscope. The expectations? Astronomical. But that's where Jerry thrives. He doesn't do small bets. He doesn't do half measures. He wants headlines, history, immortality. And Shedeur offers all of that and more. Back in Cleveland, though, it's hard to ignore the shift. Every time Shedeur walks into practice with that deadpan stare, that silent confidence, it's a reminder. He knows what he's worth. He knows what's happening. He can feel the weight of eyes on him, not just from teammates and coaches, but from Dallas. And honestly, he looks ready. He's not some rattled rookie flinching at pressure. He's absorbing it, feeding off it, and waiting for the moment to make a move. Because that's the final twist in this story. Shedeur doesn't need to say a word. All he has to do is wait. He waits until the Browns crack, until Stefanski slips again, until a teammate leaks something, until another viral headline hits, until it becomes obvious, even to Cleveland, that they're not his team. And when that happens, he walks. Or maybe he doesn't have to. Maybe Jerry's already got the jet fueled. Maybe the trade call is already half-typed into an email. Maybe it's just a matter of timing. One thing's certain, the league isn't ready for this. Because if Deion Sanders ends up in Dallas, if Jerry Jones pulls off the greatest quarterback heist in recent memory, the NFL landscape shifts. The Cowboys aren't just America's team anymore. They're the league's future. And every coach, owner, and GM who try to play it safe with a young star, they'll have to watch as Jerry turns a viral rookie into a global icon. So here's the question that lingers in the air like smoke before the explosion. Is Deion Sanders staying in Cleveland or starring in Jerry's final masterpiece? Whatever happens next, one thing for sure. This isn't just football anymore. This is legacy warfare.